Welcome back to Skygrid, everybody. Dreamklub here, and this is not one extremely sherry episode, and I will just continue building things. But I basically want to share this with you, kind of immediately, because I don't want you to think that things might have been strange with me in the coming days or something, and I don't really know if you would have noticed, but I got a death information about my uncle today. He died in an accident, and he actually was here when I was starting this channel 4 months ago, and he used to spend a lot of time during summer around at our place, and he and my dad would just go around and do what they did, which was a lot of just giving each other a good or sometimes bad time for more or less everything, and it meant a lot to both of them. So my father was really devastated when the news arrived this morning, and myself, I decided not to go to work because I was supposed to work this night, and I just couldn't do it. Basically, go to the type of work that I do, which is with people and where you have to be on the spot, so to speak. Otherwise, it's really easy to just mess up pretty big. And so the discussion of the day is, of course, going to be life and death, of course, because it's something that's very, very at the moment for me, and I think it's something where I would like to just share my view, because I have thought about this several times in different different reasons for it, of course, but basically it's something that you kind of can't avoid. It's always going to pop up at you at some point of your life, and I don't think it would change a lot for me to be very devastated and like not play any games, because this is what I do when I'm trying to remove any bad mood, and I've always had a good time when I choose to play, and I love doing this commentary stuff, so it's not that I would stop that because this horrific event, but I want you all to understand that I might postpone some of those things that I had planned to do, because yeah, the event is really taking its toll, of course. It's not something that makes you very cheerful, and life is full of this type of events when we have an idea of what we want to do and say and think, and yeah, and when it comes to the edge of anything, we're basically never in control of life and death, and if we don't accept that fact, we really can't go on. Now, my uncle, he was a nice guy. I really liked him, and well, it had been in history in our family where he more or less didn't come to see me for a long time in my life, and he didn't come to see my father either. It had been when he was in a marriage, and there had been a fight between his wife and my dad, and such things, you know, it happens in the best of families, and a lot of good stuff I can say about my own father, but I can also say that he's really good at getting into a fight with somebody that would be a lot like him, or in any other way wouldn't stand back. So that's probably a lot of it. It was probably the biggest point of the history. It was a fight that two strong minds were no, not decision, but they had decided to never turn back, and it went to the point where more or less they never came to visit. But that marriage didn't work out for my uncle, and it ended up with a divorce quite late in his life, and that took a toll on him. He was not happy. He was very affected by it, and during that period, well, it wouldn't have been that strange if he had, you know, been into suicidal thoughts or anything like that during that period, but it never came to that, and I never believed it would have, because I believe that would be something impossible for him, more or less, immoral, and I believe that he couldn't have allowed himself to do such a thing. So we are pretty sure that it wouldn't be anything like this time either, because now he had come back to a lot of things. He was very happy in most of his life, and both my father and my uncle have had this, snow golems have been here, I see, have had this thing that they are quite hard-minded, and they believe in right and wrong very strongly. So yeah, I guess that what I'm trying to say is that both he and my father could be stubborn, but they are actually in the heart they are very good people. And the fact that I now am forced to understand that he is gone, well, that's what make you start thinking about, you know, life and death, and how fragile life really is. And it was in a train accident, they believe, and he was probably out with the dog, and by some reason he was passing the track or something. They're not sure, and the police are investigating the event to understand exactly what happened. So I don't know. I can say that he died of this and that, but we are pretty sure that the accident was not related to anything suicidal. So that feels good to know, because we have had very tight contacts with him these years, and he and my father have been spending a lot of time, and they've been talking, doing what they do, which are what it is. They are kind of cute when they did what they did, but at the same time it's something that just two brothers would understand. So it's not extremely a logical case of acting, and I understand that my father is devastated, but it hurts a lot when you have to see your parents in that state. And yeah, I do believe that life is what you make of it, mostly. And with that I mean that whatever happened to him, it's probably probably we could say that he actually lived quite a good life in most aspects, even though he had had some histories of the divorce and such that, of course, one was not the most fun events of a man's life. But he had dealt with it, and he had passed a lot of the hardships that they had been in. And I can say like this: I do not believe in the Bible. If you do, it's totally okay for me, because I do believe that I'm not an atheist either, because basically I believe the world is too functional to not have any intelligent mind in it. It would just be a coincidence. I don't really can get that, but I don't believe that there are any books that can tell you the perfect answer to the riddle of life, and therefore I don't believe in the Bible. Not saying that I don't believe in any divine, because somehow it wouldn't surprise me at all. But what I most of all believe in is that we all have to kind of figure out the world ourselves. If there are a God that have given us the task of life, if that's it, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't drop by any person and say, hey, here is the answer to this extraordinary hard riddle of life. You just have to read this text here and you will have solved it, no problem. I don't really, it really don't, I can't reach that point. And that's just me. But it feels good to know that he was quite happy with himself for now. He had been into bad times and he had conquered it, he had passed it. So that's basically what I think about this thing about life and death and things. If I have to give you any type of advice about this thing of getting control of your life, that would probably be that you will probably figure it out for yourself. There are no easy answers to this thing, and there will never be a finished code to live by, because life is too complicated for that. But it's still easy enough to say that you will be able to get it when it comes to that point. You will be able to figure out what's right and wrong for yourself. You just have to trust yourself in that manner. And yeah, that's basically what I think. And that's my view upon this whole life and death. That you are on this planet basically with no guidelines. You will have to figure it out for yourself. And you have to live a good life, not depending upon anybody's orders or anybody telling you what's right and wrong. You will feel that inside, in your heart. Every human being, somehow you can figure out what's good and bad if you think about it. And if you are really believing that somebody else can tell you what's wrong and right, that is when things start to get dangerous in my eyes. Because that's basically then you can be told to do really bad stuff in the name of the so-called truth. And therefore, the only advice I really can give anybody is to believe in their own ability to see what's right and wrong and follow that path as their guideline to this life. Because my uncle, he was a good guy. Some people could probably argue that he had done bad things in his life. They probably could. And I don't believe that that's wrong. But I do believe that when everything came around, one of the last things he really took his time to do was that he wrote a letter to the delivery company for the newspaper that he had, and told them that he was really happy about how they had been able to deliver his newspaper even in snowstorms and things at time, more or less every day. And that's not done by a bad guy. So much I believe. You are not a bad guy if you really can do that. You can go and say, hey, whoever did this did a great job and deserves to be recognized for it, and I would like to recognize whoever have done this, because that's not what a bad guy do. And he actually got response from the employed person that dealt with this, and he thanked him for the kind words, and that's really what I believe life can be all about. To actually see when somebody is struggling to do something, to keep things working in a way that people like them to work, and then recognize the person that have struggled to keep this working and give them the support and the recognition that they deserve. And since that was one of the last real things that he were able to do before this New Year's Eve, when he went away to his son's house to guard their dog during the ceremonies and their rocket launchings and everything. That's actually how I'm going to remember him, and I do believe that I have had a great honor to ever learn to know him like I did, and I'm happy for all the time that we had together, and when he was here, when all of those things, and I hope that he's in a good place, whatever that place might be. If it's around here or not, I don't know, but he was a great guy, and I will miss him. I definitely will. But I will survive, of course, because I do believe that he always was the kind of person that believed in giving honor to where honor is deserved to be, and therefore I'm going to try to live by that code. And I've promised you guys to do this series, to do History of a City, and I will. There's no change in this part. I just want you to know that I'm going through this right now, and I don't sit down and cry, because that's not how I work, really. But I do think a lot, and therefore I might just be a little bit more off than I usually am. Not saying that I'm very much in every video that I do, because I can be quite off just as I am, but I might be even more. I might just get another thought in my mind that makes me be a bit off. So just have patience with that, because that will go better. And since I'm happy to have had him in my life more than anything, so I don't feel that I never had the chance to learn to know him, because I did, and that feels great. So that's how I approach this, with a feeling of honor to have had all the time that I had with him, and that I never was forced to miss out on him, because that's what I was almost about to do in the years that passed before he really came to be a part of our family in all those terms that he was in the end. And he really was my uncle a lot in the end years that we spent together, and therefore I'm happy that I actually was allowed to have him, and I will remember all the times that we had, and the times that he could really make us all laugh with his crazy humor and stuff. So, I'm Dreamklub, and I'm out.